Hello everybody. So here is the answers to today's quiz. So the first question here is, what are the type of dermatitis shown here? So you can see that the epidermis, there is acanthosis here. There is fairly regular psoriasiform hyperplasia. Okay, there are elongated retiridges. Some of them look clubbed. Okay, there is hyperkeratosis, and there is also focal parakeratosis here in some places, which is not visible here on this power, but if you go into higher bars below, you should be able to see it. And then there is a upper dermal uh, inflammatory infiltrate. So here it looks like there is a bit of spongiosis, but overall it is essentially a psoriasiform dermatitis. So the type of dermatitis that is shown here is psoriasiform. Okay, so we need to look at the overall picture. We should not base our diagnosis based on one particular feature, which is the spongiform sort of area here. All right. It doesn't look lichenoid. Lichenoid usually has a band-like infiltrate, but doesn't have this elongation of retiridges, and it's not this patchy like this. Okay, and here the basal membrane looks pretty intact here. All right. So look at the histopic below, and yeah. So the first one, the first histopic, again here just exemplifies the clubbing of the retiridges, elongated retiridges. This is probably an acosyringium, given that it's going down this far. It's probably an acosyringeal duct, that is a sweat duct. You can see parakeratosis here. You can see suprapapillary plate thinning here. Okay. In fact, there is hypogranulosis here. The granular layer for this amount of thickness of the epidermis is probably normal actually. There is no hypergranulosis. Now here, this is a close-up of the spongiform area. So here you see epidermal spongiosis, which is focal. Parakeratosis associated with it. Now remember, psoriasis also has parakeratosis, and so has eczema. Both demonstrate parakeratosis. It's only lichen planus that does not demonstrate parakeratosis. In psoriasis, the parakeratosis tends to be a bit more confluent. In spongiotic dermatosis, it tends to be a bit patchy, but that is not a differentiating factor between them. Now, acral psoriasis often tends to be eczematous on histology as well as clinically, and we know this, and that is the reason we often tend to biopsy, because we are not certain whether this is hyperkeratotic eczema or psoriasis. Histologically as well, these are slightly difficult entities to distinguish, but when you look at the overall features, you should be able to get a clue. All right. Now, if you look at a close-up of the sort of spongiform area, here what you're seeing are actually lymphocytes, they're not neutrophils. You can see the parakeratosis here. These are retained nuclei within the stratum corneum. This is parakeratosis. The stratum corneum is still a basket weave type. It's not compact type, it's still basket weave type, but it's hyperkeratotic, and there is parakeratosis here, though it's focal. Now, these are all lymphocytes. These are lymphocytes. There is spongiosis. There are no neutrophils. And here, if you look at the dermis below, here you're also seeing a lot of neutrophils associated with a bit of dermal edema, a few dilated capillaries. Okay. Now, I forgot to mention in the earlier slide, you can see here there are dilated capillary loops here as well. These are small dilated capillary loops in the papillary dermis. Okay. Right. So, what? So there is definite parakeratosis. Okay. There is no alternating orthokeratosis and parakeratosis. So when I say alternating in horizontal and vertical directions, the parakeratosis you should see a band of parakeratosis here. Okay, and orthokeratosis here, again parakeratosis, then orthokeratosis. That is absent here. These are not alternating. This here the parakeratosis is confluent. You can see the parakeratosis here in this particular section. You can see the parakeratosis throughout actually. Here you're seeing just more compact hyperkeratosis. It's not orthokeratosis, it's compact hyperkeratosis. Here it's a bit more ortho with parakeratosis, but it's not alternating. Okay, the alternating ortho and parakeratosis pattern in both vertical and horizontal directions. So you should see a band of ortho here, and then followed by para, followed by ortho. If you see that particular band, sort of the checkerboard pattern of parakeratosis alternating with orthokeratosis and parakeratosis alternating with each other, then that is an indication for pityriasis rubra pilaris. This is absent here. There is definite lymphocyte exocytosis. There is spongiosis focally. The suprapapillary plate is actually thin, not thick. So this is absent. Hypergranulosis is absent. Subcorneal neutrophils are absent. Vacuolar interface change is absent. Clubbing of wet ridges are present. Monroe's microabscesses are absent. Okay. So the clinical picture is this. The clinical picture is that of cerasiform hyperkeratotic plaques on the feet, on the dorsum of the feet. Now you can see here that the elbows and the kneecaps are also involved. You can see in this picture, in these pictures here. So overall, this is essentially a cerasiform dermatitis with the presence of focal spongiosis. Spongiosis itself does not exclude the diagnosis of psoriasis. We have to look at the overall features. Those subcorneal neutrophilic microabscesses are absent. Now remember, Monroe's microabscesses are the same as subcorneal neutrophilic microabscesses. If you find microabscesses within the epidermis, they are called spongiform pustules of Kogoj. Okay, so this is actually a repetition. So just to confuse you, both mean the same thing. So the diagnosis here is psoriasis. It is not a systematized Blaschkoid inflammatory epidermal nevus, though the histology can be pretty much similar. In a Blaschkoid inflamed epidermal nevus, the histology is pretty much similar. There is no difference with between psoriasis and inflammatory epidermal nevus. Both histologies look similar. However, the clinical picture is not that of a epidermal nevus. This is definitely that of psoriasis. Thank you very much.